Boxers don't do this. This is why Canelo's not fighting Benavidez. Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who's relatively unknown, and Benavidez beats him, and Benavidez becomes overnight a superstar? That's Canelo's letting Benavidez make a name off of him.
Wait, so you're saying that you're gonna make?
If it was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, hell of a fighter, but my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez. You know, that's just my personal opinion, and I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's just what it is. We want to see Benavidez.
David Benavidez is not holding back from revealing details after Canelo Alvarez's loss to Terence Crawford. The undefeated super-middleweight champion is turning up the heat, claiming that Canelo is too afraid to face him.
Can you not give us Canelo Benavidez? Why? Canelo, why? I do not understand it. You're demanding $200 million? Like, come on, dude. Basically, Canelo doesn't want to give us the good fights. Imagine if Canelo and Benavidez gets made. That's the Super Bowl of boxing. Boxing is on the rise. Canelo, don't screw it up for us. I thought I would never say this, but Canelo's scared. Literally, I thought I would, as a fighter, I know fighters are not scared. But wow, we've been begging Canelo, please, Canelo, please.
Saul Canelo Alvarez refused to engage in a fight with David Benavidez, expressing dissatisfaction with Benavidez's approach and showing interest only in the millions of dollars he would earn. Veteran trainer Ronnie Shields boldly predicted that Terence Crawford would win even before the Canelo vs. Crawford showdown, and he continues to stand by that claim. After the bout, Shields stated that he had always believed Crawford's agility and his ability to switch seamlessly from orthodox to southpaw would prove too difficult for Canelo to handle. He reinforced this view by explaining how Bud's skill in changing stances, attacking or retreating, and controlling distance exposed Canelo's slight defensive flaws and created openings for Crawford to capitalize on.
By unanimous decision, we got that. I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now. The end is there for Canelo. And I just think that Crawford was too fast for him, especially in the southpaw position. We all know Canelo have problems with the southpaw. So, and that's why I picked Crawford. I just thought Crawford could be too fast for him.
Ronnie Shields, a former professional boxing coach, praised Terence Crawford for executing an almost flawless game plan, staying composed, timing his attacks, and punishing every mistake Canelo made. Shields described it as an outstanding display of tactical execution and ring intelligence, just as he had predicted before the fight. He even suggested that Canelo should consider retirement, noting that the many high-level bouts he has fought have clearly taken a toll on him. In contrast, Oscar De La Hoya shared a different perspective. He emphasized that the decision to retire rests entirely with Canelo. If Canelo feels he has reached his limit, then stepping away would be understandable, but he should be cautious in choosing his future opponents. De La Hoya expressed his deep admiration for Crawford, calling him truly exceptional and remarkably skilled at recognizing styles and counterpunching. He admitted the experience was humbling, a reminder of Crawford's brilliance. De La Hoya concluded that the fight reaffirmed why Crawford is regarded as one of the most adaptable and intelligent fighters in the sport of boxing.
Crawford is older than Canelo, so we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure him out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford, and I really don't know where Canelo goes.
Oscar De La Hoya, a former professional boxer and promoter of Mexican descent, did not cease his commentary on Canelo's next steps following the historic victory. He also examined Terence Crawford's future path. Crawford's conviction is evident in De La Hoya's remarks, and it is this confidence that will propel him toward even greater challenges. De La Hoya observed that Crawford appears completely at ease and content at super middleweight, with no real reason to return to 154 lbs. However, He might consider moving back to 160 lbs if a highly anticipated fight presents itself. Oscar believes that the most intriguing matchup currently available would be against the rising star Virgil Ortiz, a fight he feels would deliver an action-packed and entertaining experience worthy of Crawford's current status.
When Crawford at 160, imagine that. Would be incredible. So there's a good possibility that Crawford will stay at 168. Most likely go down to 160. I don't think he's going to touch 154. I think he'll stay at 160 eventually and try to find the biggest fights possible. And the biggest fight for him would be a Virgil Ortiz.
Terrence "Bud" Crawford's performance in the September 13th main event against Canelo Alvarez was praised by Rolando Romero. Romero stated that it takes a rare kind of fighter to hand Canelo a defeat, and Crawford did just that. He noted that the early rounds were highly competitive, with Canelo pressing forward and keeping the fight close. However, Romero observed that as the bout progressed, Crawford gradually took full control, dictating the pace, landing cleaner shots, and winning round after round. Romero emphasized that Bud's ability to adapt mid-fight to overcome an elite opponent is proof that he now deserves recognition among the greatest boxers of all time. He described it as an extraordinarily accomplished feat, almost beyond imagination.
Made me, that performance did something really special for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot more special than what probably anyone else is probably thinking, honestly. I didn't expect Crawford to be that big.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't expect Crawford to be that big, but Canelo did good the first few rounds, you know, first like all the way up like to round 4, and then that's when Crawford took over, you know. So I mean, the second half of the fight though, it was all Crawford. There was no question about it.
Terrence Crawford appears reluctant to engage in a bout with David Benavidez, sharing a similar mindset to that of Canelo Alvarez. The Mexican superstar was defeated by the American boxer, who captured his titles in a commanding performance. Following Canelo's loss to Terrence Crawford, David Benavidez submitted his challenge, urging Canelo to organize Mexico's ultimate boxing showdown. Meanwhile, a former world champion has advised Canelo to consider retirement. Crawford, much like Canelo, seems cautious about facing Benavidez. The American fighter achieved great success by defeating his Mexican rival, Canelo Alvarez, and stripping him of his titles. On several major boxing platforms and Instagram pages, Crawford addressed the Benavidez situation, acknowledging that Benavidez is a formidable opponent. However, he clarified that he would not completely rule out a potential fight. Crawford explained that his reason for facing Canelo was based on size, noting that Benavidez stands around 180 meters tall and typically weighs between 88 and 90 kilograms. Boxing journalist Dan Rafael echoed Rolando Romero's earlier observations, describing the early rounds of the Canelo versus Crawford fight as intense and action-packed, filled with fierce exchanges. Rafael highlighted that Crawford had not only prepared meticulously for the fight, but also executed his strategy with precision, decisively outperforming the larger and more experienced Canelo. He admired Crawford's strategic discipline and patience, describing both as masterful. Rafael further reminded fans of the skepticism surrounding Crawford before the match, with many doubting his ability to overcome Canelo's size, strength, and championship experience. Yet through focus, discipline, and relentless training, Crawford turned those doubts into a resounding victory, solidifying his reputation as one of the most complete and determined champions in the sport of boxing.
I thought he did a great job. I thought it was close. I had Canelo ahead in the early going, but I thought Crawford did an amazing job closing that fight down in the last few rounds, where he really started to back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was a brilliant performance, and what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that. But he showed.
Dan Rafael later elaborated that although a Canelo-Crawford rematch would undoubtedly attract massive attention, it might not be the most beneficial or strategic move for either fighter at this stage. He advised both men to pursue other high stakes, opportunities that better align with their current career paths. Rafael suggested that Canelo carefully assess the potential benefits and drawbacks of any future bout and decide whom, if anyone, he should face next. Regarding Crawford, Rafael stated that this historic victory had elevated Bud's status to such a degree that every top contender in the sport would now be eager to challenge him. Nevertheless, Rafael emphasized that Crawford must carefully consider each possible matchup, taking into account the division in which the fight might occur, the magnitude of the event, and the championship titles that could be on the line in his next appearance.
The winner of Eubank and Ben, too, the Hamza Shiraz, I mean, those types of names. He's got mandatories. Mabili got the draw tonight in a great fight. There's other fighters that have belts and interim belts and blah, blah, blah. So, nobody's going to rush Terence Crawford into his next fight. He'll take his time, and, whatever the next fight is, it's going to be a big one because, his name is even greater now than what happened going into this fight for him. So he beats Canelo Alvarez, it becomes a much bigger.
Lois Schofield, who had been steadfast in his belief that Canelo Alvarez would triumph on September 13th, expressed his astonishment at Terence Crawford's complete dominance after the fight. Schofield admitted that he had expected to see a vintage Canelo performance, but instead witnessed the Mexican star fall far short of expectations. For the first time, Schofield voiced uncertainty about Canelo's potential retirement. While analyzing the bout, he emphasized that Crawford outperformed Canelo in every aspect: speed, timing, and most notably, ring control. Crawford built a commanding lead and secured a decisive victory. Still, Schofield expressed hope that Canelo would continue his career, regroup, and make a strong comeback so that the boxing world might once again see him as the champion he once was.
I was hurt, I ain't gonna lie, because I've been a fan of Canelo since I was a kid, so my heart, a tear almost came on my eye, I ain't gonna lie, because it felt like, that Canelo's done. But I just think he was a little off that night. I think he can, make a big comeback. But to Crawford, man, he's the greatest of this era. You got to give it to him. Greatest of this era. Nobody's ever done that before. 3-time undisputed. So you got to take your hats off to Crawford. And I was just shocked that he was able to just dismantle Canelo like that, even with the size difference. That just goes to show size.
Canelo Alvarez's record stands as a blueprint for the modern boxing legend, a career defined by facing elite competition, global pay-per-view stardom, and conquering 4 weight divisions. He has consistently demonstrated the ability to adapt to nearly any fighting style before him, coupled with devastating counterpunching. From his teenage rise in Mexico to signature victories over renowned legends like Miguel Cotto and Sergey Kovalev, Canelo has evolved into a global icon and one of the sport's most marketable figures. His remarkable consistency across elite divisions has cemented his legacy. In 2012, when he shared the ring with former champion Shane Mosley, the veteran described the experience as facing a fighter who seemed far more seasoned than his years. Mosley praised Canelo's natural strength, precise timing, and patience, qualities that revealed the makings of a future pound-for-pound great. Canelo's journey from prodigy to one of boxing's most illustrious champions has been marked by a calm confidence and maturity that were evident even in his early career.
The young kid, I think he was 21, 22 years old, he had a lot of experience, I should say. He had a lot of boxing experience at his age.
40 fights?
Huh?
He had 40 or 50 fights at that point, right?
40, 50 fights, but not just that. I'm talking about experience as far as knowledge about being the real, experience. Like veteran experience. Like he knew how to counter, he knew how to block and counter, do all different things. So it wasn't like he was just an ordinary fighter. And I was like, and fighting him, I'm like, wow. He actually knows how to get away from stuff. He knows how to counter. He knows how to trick shots up. He knows how to do stuff.
Furthermore, Canelo's durability and championship spirit were on full display in his evenly matched bouts against Gennady Golovkin, 2 of the most defining moments of his career. He later cemented his legacy by becoming the first undisputed super-middleweight champion, defeating Caleb Plant and unifying all 4 major titles. Beyond collecting championships, Canelo has consistently sought out dangerous challenges across multiple weight divisions, never backing down from high-stakes encounters. His career embodies both excellence and endurance, blending the fierce fighting spirit that represents the pride of Mexican boxing with outstanding technical skill. These accomplishments have firmly established him as one of the greatest fighters of his generation. The fact that Terence Crawford returned the belts to Canelo after their fight further highlights the deep respect and admiration Canelo commands within the boxing world. David Benavidez has earned a reputation as one of the most formidable contenders in the super middleweight division, with his 2019 victory over Anthony Dirrell marking a pivotal moment in his career. Following his 9th-round knockout of the more experienced champion to reclaim the WBC title, Benavidez spoke with the calm confidence of a fighter who understood his rightful place among the sport's elite. Having regained the belt at just 22 years old, he described the win as a dream come true and highlighted how much the title meant to him. Benavidez praised Dirrell's relentless pressure and sharp combination punching, acknowledging how they pushed him to tighten his control and momentum as the rounds progressed. He viewed the victory as proof of his growth, discipline, and maturity, demonstrating that his blend of youth, power, and focus had made him the man to beat at 168 pounds.
Words can't explain how good I feel. I said I was gonna get in here. I was gonna win the belt again. Like I said, it was a hard fight. You know, my Dirrell was trying to catch me all night. He was trying to counter me when I would step in. But you know, we were willing to take the chances, and he didn't catch me at all. It was a hard fight, but you know, my dreams come true. You know, second time fighting on pay-per-view. All my people out there came out to support. So man, it's an amazing feeling. I just can't wait to get back in there again and defend my title.
Following the electrifying showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, boxing fans are eagerly debating what the future holds for both champions. Some supporters and analysts are calling for an immediate rematch, while others believe Canelo and Crawford should explore new challenges. David Benavidez has openly criticized Canelo in the aftermath of the fight, suggesting that the narrative of youth versus a seasoned legend is both fascinating and entertaining for the sport. Many voices within the boxing community have urged Canelo to consider retirement to protect his legacy after an extraordinary career. Meanwhile, Crawford's dominant victory has opened the door to countless exciting possibilities. Should he focus on rising star Virgil Ortiz, aim to become a champion at middleweight or super middleweight, or seek another monumental pound-for-pound challenge? What do you think? Should Canelo retire or accept Benavidez' challenge? And who should Bud Crawford face next? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.